Hey guys, and welcome back to Tall Tales. I'm Miles, and today we're going to be looking at that extremely exhausting eruption of ego. That's right, it's entitled parents. Karen crashed into my Jeep and expects me to pay her cash for her damages because her children will starve if she pays to fix her car. So some backstory. I own a Jeep. Hashtag Jeep Life. Fully built, lift kit, ADD, bumpers, the whole shebang. So one day, I'm coming home from work. It's a summer day, the roof is off, and I'm having some open top fun. Stop at a red light, and suddenly, I drive forward slightly and go back to assess the damage, and lo and behold, it's a Mercedes C-Class, a new one at that as well. Completely destroyed from the front, and my beautiful Jeep had no damage, apart from a few scratches. I went to check on the passenger of the Merc, got them out, luckily she was unharmed, these Mercs are definitely safe. Under a minute after she's out of the car, she starts screaming about how I wrecked her car. I told her calmly that she was the one who rammed me. I think she understood how me hitting her would be impossible. I offered to share our insurance details because I knew that Mercedes damage doesn't come cheap. But she said that she didn't have insurance. She insisted that I pay her 10k cash. How she got this number, I don't know. I said that was just plain wrong, as 1, she hit me, 2, it's her fault for not having insurance. She then went on a ramble about how her kids needed the money, and how they had no money at the time, and now her kids will have to starve because she will have to pay to fix her car, and how it'll be my fault when they're on the street tomorrow. On the street with a Mercedes, my butt. That is why you should have insurance. But no, she said she would call the cops if I didn't pay her. I refused as this is just dumb. So then she called the cops. Yeah. Cops came, assessed the damage, and asked us what happened. And she said, and I quote, "He backed into me at full speed on a red light." Then they asked me what happened, and I told them. It became a he said, she said situation. Luckily, a shopkeeper was there and saw the whole thing, and even captured it on surveillance camera. Needless to say, I came out on top. Cops got her for reckless driving and driving without insurance. Then she started yelling at the cops about how they would just let a criminal get away. They explained that I did nothing wrong, and they now had video evidence. So the partner of the cop came to me and told me if I could drive, I can leave. So I got in my Jeep and left. I never want to have a Karen experience again. Not worth it. Does anyone else kind of want a Jeep now? Anyways, let's hope this guy never has to deal with a Karen incident again. Karen wants to sue me over the post from the Jeep accident. Oh my god, this poor guy. He can't catch a break. So, Karen read my post. Who knew? I certainly didn't. I just received a direct message from Karen, in all caps, as expected. She basically said that how I already destroyed her car and left her penniless and her children starving. I'm so over this. And now she wants me to take down the post because it defaces her. She said, and I quote, "You know this is illegal. You have no right to talk like this about me. You already wrecked my car that I have to pay out of pocket now for. If you don't take this down immediately, I will report you and sue you for attacking me." I explained to her that neither was her real name mentioned nor the place where this happened. The only thing mentioned was her car and how she was being a big jerk. But no, she threatened to sue me for defacing her beautiful reputation. How? So yeah, that happened. I advised her against this, but she said she had my license plate number, and if this post wasn't gone by tomorrow, I will be receiving some papers. I'm not worried at all. She doesn't have a case, as I didn't mention anywhere her name or any revealing info at all. P.S. For the ones asking, yeah, the Wrangler and I are fine. It was built to take punishment, and so was I. I also contacted the shopkeeper, who has agreed to pass me the recording. Damn, this guy is unlucky. Who knew Karens were on Reddit? Always watching. Discovering our weaknesses. Oh god, I think there's one in the house. Ah! Entitled mother vandalizes my car because I won't give her my parking spot. I work in an office building with about 3 dozen companies operating on the premises. Because of the odd layout of the building, we have 6 different parking lots. I prefer to use the hidden lot, which requires you to drive through one of the indoor lots to reach, which between being hard to find and all the spots being marked compact, is usually less crowded than some of the lots closer to the road. Not to mention that the door into my building from that lot is right next to my office, so it's convenient in every way for me personally. Today it was raining cats and dogs when I arrived at the office. For some reason, my normal lot was unusually full. However, someone pulled out of a prime space just as I arrived, giving me a much shorter walk through the wetness to reach the door. I exchanged polite nods with the guy leaving, and then pull into the space behind him. As I'm about to get out of my car and grabbing my laptop bag out of the back, I hear some distant car horn honking, but I think nothing of it since it's practically on the other side of the lot. When I turn around and head inside though, entitled mother rolls up in an oversized SUV and slides to a stop on the wet pavement between me and the building, splashing me with a bit of puddle in the process. That spot wasn't for you. Excuse me? That parking spot. I was waiting for it and you stole it from me. Where? The highway off-ramp? No! I've been looking for a parking spot for 20 minutes, and when one comes open, it's for the first person waiting. At this point, I look up and take stock of a whole row of empty spaces she had ignored to come over and harass me about taking her space. And consider the fact that the claim she's making, that whoever was first gets the first available space, is not now, nor has it ever been, a real point of etiquette. There are plenty over there that were open before I even got here. Take your pick. No! I need that spot! You need to move now! Why on earth do you have to have this spot? So my baby doesn't get wet walking from all the way over there. I look in the back seat, and the kid looking back at me was easily 10 to 12 years old. Also, over there couldn't have been more than 50 feet further to walk in the rain. That's not a baby, he'll be fine. And anyway, your car wouldn't fit in this compact spot. I move over and point so she can read the 6-inch tall letters marking the spot as smaller than average. But if you go around that side of the building, there's another lot that isn't compact spaces. Whatever, are you gonna move or not? Your fat butt needs the extra exercise anyway. Me, already cranky because I hadn't eaten yet, now annoyed that this orangutan in lipstick is now talking to me this way. Well, I'm definitely not moving for such a colossal cow. Have fun walking in the rain. I hope you get struck by lightning. I quickly walked away while this charming example of humanity hurled abuse after me. Now admittedly, about 15 minutes later, once I was settled in at my desk, I started feeling really badly that I'd told this woman I hope she gets struck by lightning. Even if there was no lightning going on in that rainstorm, I continued to feel bad for all of 5 minutes, when the sound of a car alarm caused me to go to the window and look out. This woman had parked somewhere, gotten out of the car, and was now keying the hell out of my car door's driver's side, whilst entitled kid recorded it on his phone. I took a picture of them in the act on my phone, and immediately called the building security to tell them what was going on. So guess who got arrested for destruction of property and assault? Alright, she spit on and scratched the security guard who went to confront her, so assault. And everything that went down from the beginning to the end was practically right under a security camera. So it got a good look at her kid, and her car, including license plate. So no way she's getting away with it. And since the slur she etched into my car door is homophobic, she may also get charged under hate crime laws. So, that's fun. Entitled parent thinks they rented the whole park. I'm at a city park with my kids. We've been to this park a bunch. There's this one spot where there is a rocky hill, all tree covered, nice and shady on a hot day. There's a playground and a pavilion at the top of the hill. We get there and I immediately notice loud noises. And I'm having to step over cables and extension cords. Someone rented the pavilion and set up not one, but 3 bounce houses around it. Great. So I have to give the disappointing news to my kids that even though they are surrounded by bounce houses, they cannot play in them since this is a private party. But they are free to go hit the playground. Everyone is cool. I sit on a bench as my kids go to town on a fake pirate ship, when I hear, "Hey!" That's when entitled dad, doing his best to imitate the situation from Jersey Shore, walks up to me and informs me that the playground is closed for a private party. I look at him and inform him the public park does not close for private parties. It sounds like he's rented the pavilion nearby, which is fine, but it doesn't give him exclusive right of the neighbouring playground. He storms off and returns with a rental agreement, shoves it in my face, telling me to get my freaking kids and leave. Right, so the rental agreement is very clearly for the pavilion. All for the grand sum of $35 for 4 hours. How could any sensible adult think that $35 granted you exclusive use of a public playground? Moreover, why is it so important for you to have exclusive use of a public playground? I again point out to him that he rented the pavilion, not the park. And my kids won't go near his bounce houses and we won't go into his pavilion. But the playground is fair game for everyone. He begins hurling threats, and I'm weighing just taking my kids and leaving to avoid this jerk. Then I decide I need to take a stand on principle. So I tell him to sod off, and proceed to use my phone to find the phone number for the park office. Our county staffs our parks. During the summer months, they employ park rangers who have peace officer authority. I call the park ranger and tell them that there is trouble up at this shady playground and they need to come right away. Sure enough, as I'm getting off the phone, DOLPH returns with his 2 meathead friends to tell me they are ejecting me from the park. No, you are not, and if you touch me, I'm calling the cops and pressing charges. No anger, no rage. With this promise of action, however, one of them kind of widens his eyes and steps back, saying to his friend, "Just leave it alone, man. This guy for some reason does not want the police coming and it's very obvious." The ringleader won't back down, however, and tries his best to get in my face, scream and yell. He grabs my arm, I remove his hand. All of this just as I see the ranger pull up, yell for everyone to step back from one another and come over. This smug idiot shoves the rental contract in the chest of the ranger, telling him that I'm trespassing. And he rented the space for the day for his kid's party. Now normally I don't like posturing law enforcement, but here it was pretty amusing. Touch me again and I'm arresting you. He reads the contract. This is for renting the pavilion. You have use of the pavilion, but the playground is open for public use. Also, your permit does not allow you to set up bounce houses. Where did you plug these in? The ranger follows the extension cords and sees that they ran them to the nearby public bathrooms. There was an outdoor outlet. It was locked. This dude cut off the lock so he could plug in his bounce houses. Ranger comes back with the broken lock. Did you cut this lock? It was like that when I found it. Really? 'Cause it was intact this morning. So some random person came and cut this lock and you just happened upon it within the last 2 hours? I guess. Long story short, he let them stay and let them keep the bounce castles because he didn't want to ruin a kid's party. He wrote the guy a citation for the broken lock and unauthorized power use, and banned him from the park for the remainder of the season, after the party. Amazingly, this entire event was lost on my children who barely noticed anything was going on, likely because of the compressor noise. I don't know what this guy's thinking. Why are like 2 kids and a mum really bothering him that much anyway? Entitled mother thinks her baby's cries are something people want to hear at a movie theater. So I don't know where to begin. I finally have my 1 day off yesterday to finally see It Part 2. Yeah, I know, what took you so long? Work and school, it's a beach. Any students doing both know the struggle. So I get home, exhausted, and my boyfriend surprises me with tickets to see the movie. I'm ecstatic. Some time with him and a chance to finally see this long-awaited movie. Amazing. So we head out, get there, get our expensive movie snacks, and sit our butts down. Typical movie experience. That is until I hear something I shouldn't hear in an R-rated movie. The sound of a baby cooing. My first thought was, what the frick? There's no way. There's no way that someone's so incompetent to bring a baby to a movie that was bound to be loud as heck. I didn't want to believe it, but sure enough, my boyfriend jabs his finger to the entitled mother's location. In her lap was a toddler. At that moment, I knew my night was ruined. He had already spent money to get the tickets. We got our treats with the prices fit for Satan himself. We couldn't just leave. It was too late at this point. I just kept my mouth shut. I don't like kids, especially crying kids, but at that moment the kid wasn't crying, so everything was good. Be that as it may, I couldn't help but think, what parent thought it was a good idea to bring their kid to a movie like this? Out of all the damn movies, just say frick off to the scary clown, am I right? So the movie starts, everything is chill. I'm enjoying the scene, me and my boo, me whispering that I want him to dress up like Pennywise, we can play a little game of girls on top. That had him laughing, I'm on clown 9. Haha, I'm not funny. But then as predicted, as soon as the loud scene builds up, toddler starts crying, and it just goes on and on. From where I'm sitting, the entitled mother a few rows down, not once did she make a move to leave the theatre. It was as if the kid wasn't there to begin with. I just stared at the back of her head in amazement. The last thing I wanted was to draw attention and tell this cow to leave, so I just prayed that someone else would do it. It didn't take long, but I guess someone complained. An attendant came in and walked to her, and what I presumed was telling her about the baby. I knew right off that this lady was crazy, not because she brought this kid to a movie, but because she stood up and screamed at the dude, "I didn't have a freaking babysitter!" Who gives a damn? Certainly not I, who spent $10 plus just for a drink and some popcorn. Everyone clapped when she took the child out, and God, it was like an orgasm in my ears when all I was hearing was the characters on screen scream, not a little baby. Internet language has ruined us, because as soon as she said everyone clapped, I was like, maybe this isn't true. Also, orgasm in my ears, I don't think that's going to catch on. Okay, that's it from Entitled Parents. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing. I've been Miles, this has been Tall Tales. See you next time.